this plug would come out, and then you would plug that harness into this. And then this is where the little float switch mounts on this little bracket. Now this is a 6, I don't know if any of you guys build boats that take the small 6 kW. Everything's bigger than this, I think, yeah. But the layout, it's just a bigger version of the same engine for up until 20 kilowatts. So go ahead, Light. So we'll start it, and then I think what I'd like to do is demonstrate a couple of the safety shutoff switches. So here you have on this one, this is the location of the oil pressure switch right here. And then the water temperature switch, because you know I handed out the wire color schematic, so you can tell the difference, and this is kind of important. The the shutdown circuit is the gray wires, and the temperature switch and the oil pressure switch have colored wires. Temperature is brown, and the oil pressure sender right here is blue. So when I'm helping a customer on the phone and I say, okay, I think you have a bad temperature switch, disconnect the temperature switch, and they go and they disconnect the first wire that is and they think they disconnected the temperature switch, but they actually may have disconnected the sensor, or the sender, which the sender gives information to the gauge, but it's the switch that actually shuts the engine down. And we'll see that Light's going to start it up, and then I'm going to shut it down by grounding one of the shutdown switches. Okay. You have water in here. Yeah. I always put my hand on the front of the raw water pump just to make sure that there's water flowing and cool to the touch. Because sometimes you start it up and it's down and flowing or something, so you want to make sure that the pump is cool. But right now we're going to simulate the oil pressure switch problem. So we're just going to ground it. So when the switch changes contacts, that shuts the generator off. That was the oil pressure safety switch I did. A little easier to get to, but now we'll do the same thing with the water temperature switch, which on this one's kind of tucked down underneath. Maybe start back up if you could. Do you have enough water or no? Okay. Temperature switch grounds, and one of the reasons that the coolant, the type of coolant is important, the switch that's been standard for many years for us, it's a hollow switch for the water temperature, and it has solder on the end, and the contacts are inside the switch. And so if the coolant is aggressive on the solder, you get moisture droplets inside the switch. If you took a switch out and shook it, you can hear moisture inside, droplets of moisture inside the switch when it fails. And so anyway, that's why we're pretty particular with the blue coolant. We are now using a different switch that's got a solid construction, so hopefully not as many troubles with that switch. Hopefully it'll be a little more forgiving. But anyway, any questions so far? So for sender troubleshooting, the senders, I should go get a screwdriver. I think. Well, actually, maybe we just take one of the sender wires off. No, we'll be okay. I think it's okay. I'll just knurl that. Yeah, that one. So maybe we'll start it and run it, and then we'll take the wire off and show what happens at the gauge. Whoops, I think a washer dropped.
Yeah, washer dropped.
I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it. Okay.
Here it is.
Yeah,
Here it
so
is.
the washer.
It's gonna shake off of there. Let me take them so they don't shake off. Okay. So let's see here. So while it's not running and we can still talk, for the gauges, sometimes you have like a loose DC ground connection. So the DC grounding points, that's the black circuit, the black wire, or black wires. On the small sets, we used to put the DC ground at the bottom of this bracket. They all came to there. And then, of course, the bonding wire came there too, or sometimes a boat builder will put a heavy bonding wire there. And so it ends up being a lot of cable lugs on one screw, and it makes, because sometimes it can make for the loose connection. And so with the ground connection loose, you see on the gauge needles, you see them, they're bouncing around. And so if the gauges are bouncing and more than one gauge is bouncing, go right to the ground circuit, because it's probably a loose ground connection. On the little generator set, we've got so little space to work with. The DC grounds are actually under the air cleaner on the flywheel housing, so hard to get to now, but less problematic where they are now, because they don't get used for the green wire to bond anymore. So anyway, okay, we'll go ahead and start it back up, Light, and then I'll take the wire off and then ground the wire so we can see. Now this is, we're on the oil pressure sender right here. So whenever you're ready, yeah.
还要示范说，如果这个线断了，这个表会怎么样？
See the gauge pegs all the way over. Now if we ground the wire, the gauge pegs the other way. Oh, you have it. I thought I put them in
I look for your assistant.
there. So not all of our generator sets have gauge panels. The small generator sets, I think we don't include a gauge panel until 944 model.
Yeah, 20.
The 20.
Yeah,
944, I think. Yeah.
The
so,
S3C.
so the
That's 864. 25. That's the S3C.
小发电机这个不是标准，那是另外额外买。但是我们一般都会配，不然没有表的话不好。那大的它就标准，25K 以上就标准。
So if you don't have gauges, so troubleshooting, like if the engine starts and runs only when you're holding the bypass button, and then it dies as soon as you let off the bypass button, that's because when the bypass button, when you're holding it down, you're bypassing the shutdown switches, because it needs time for the oil pressure to build past 15 psi. That's why that bypass feature is there. So if that's the symptom, that it will stay running as long as you have the bypass switch held, then you know that one of the 3 shutdown switches is most likely what's causing the generator not to stay running. With new installations, it's pretty common, this is probably getting warm, not warm, it's pretty common. This is the exhaust temperature switch. You can step in and take a look. It's threaded into the exhaust elbow, but it's really easily damaged with installing new generator sets. This guy here. So because if all it takes is for this to get smashed, and if this is smashed, then it's a normally open switch, but if this gets smashed, now it's closed. The contacts are closed. And so the first place to look on a new installation, if the symptom is that the engine is running, but it only stays running as long as you're bypassing the shutdown, the first place to look is to make sure that this isn't damaged. And then the way to troubleshoot this, if that's the symptom, is to disconnect the shutdown switches one at a time. So you can, this one is easy to disconnect because there's just a small connector.
我们在安装的时候最怕这个感应，这个开关怕撞坏，所以在吊挂或是施工的时候，这个开关很重要。线只要被折到，就有可能断掉。它断的这一颗很贵哦，这一颗它所有零件里面，感应器什么它最贵。这条要片来大概4、5千块，所以要很小心这个。很多人都撞坏过这个。
So did you tell them to take it out?
别的星期，那是this
Easy to damage. Yeah.
就是这一颗吗？
So you can take it out. You can just thread it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just spin it. Yeah, yeah.
啊，这个不用换是做简单的，要换很简单。
但是零件很贵。
但是零件很贵，这
So
个这个5000块以上。
可以先拆下来嘛？
你可以现在就示范说你先可以拆下来。
这个地方。
对。
为什么？
对。
Yeah, before you put the install, then put it back in.
他建议说先拆下来。
That's the safe